Hey guys, Hippopotamus here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a new build that involves using the new Catalyst mask. So let's not waste any time and get to it, show you everything you need to know. So, for our specialisation, we're using the Technician. The main reason really is just the extra skill tier. However, the skill damage is kind of helpful, and the EMP grenades do come in handy. Other than that, the main things like just getting a little bit of bonus armor when you're aiming a skill, that can be useful, and then the synergizing weapons, this is also quite useful. So let's go down to the range, and what we'll do is we'll look at the build, look at the stat sheet, and then go through the build itself. So, starting with the build, I'll start with the weapons that I'm using. So I am using the Carnage LMG. This comes with LMG damage, damage to targets out of cover, and a roll of damage to armor at the bottom. The talent is Perfect Sadist, so when enemies are bleeding, you gain 35% multiplicative, which is amplified damage to enemies. We also have the ACRE. This is a just quite strong assault rifle, slower firing, but with a higher damage. It uses assault rifle damage, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover. And we are using the talent Vindictive. So what this is going to do is when we kill a status effect enemy, you and your allies within 15 meters gain 16% extra crit chance and 16% extra crit damage for 20 seconds. This is quite important because this is going to plug the gap for a little bit of crit chance that we don't actually get because of the gear set that we're using. So this is going to help us get up to the crit chance cap, or a little bit closer to it at least. It's probably important just to show the attachment, so what I'll do is just quickly do that now. I'm stacked into crit chance and then crit damage, so 1 crit chance mod and then 2 crit damage mods. And on the assault rifle I have, again, 2 crit damage mods, 1 crit chance. So that's just an important little extra factor that we don't normally go through. The pistol, I'm using the TDI card. And this is just for the extra skill tier. This is going to help us get to 2 skill tiers, which is helpful for our hive, helpful for cooldowns, things like that. This comes with pistol damage, 1 extra skill tier, and then I've chosen the talent Sadist because obviously with bleed damage, this synergizes quite well with the hollow point rounds that we get from the ongoing Directive bonus. So we're using the new Catalyst mask. This comes with weapon damage, hazard protection, and status effects, quite nice. And we have a 6% crit chance mod slotted into there. The talent, which is Chemical Agent, basically what this is going to do, when you apply or receive any status effect, it's going to build stacks for you. Applying statuses basically builds less stacks than receiving them, so that's noteworthy. However, for each status that we apply, we're going to build up to 12 stacks of 2% weapon damage and 2% status effect, so gaining 24% weapon damage and 24% status effect. And then when we kill an enemy, on top of that, if we do kill an enemy that with status effect, we gain 25% bonus armor and 20% reload speed, which ties in quite nicely with the cores that we're using for this build. We can also shoot while burning, an ADS, without disruption, so if we get burnt, it stops us from looking down the sights, but this allows us to carry on shooting. So, for our backpack, and this is our only brand set piece that we're wearing the Anarchist Cookbook. This increases status effect duration and damage by 10%, and we have a armor core, crit damage, crit chance, and a crit chance mod. We also have the talent Perfectly Wicked, so what this is going to do is when we apply a status effect, it's going to increase weapon damage by 18% for 27 seconds. We are using 4 pieces of ongoing directive, so I'll go through them as we go there. To start off with, I'm using the chest, and this is the 1 piece, so this doesn't really give us anything right now, so we won't concentrate on that. We have an armor core here. I'll explain why they have the armor cores nearer the end, but there is a reason. We also have crit hit damage and, all importantly, a crit hit chance mod. The talent on the chest piece, what it does is it increases the hollow point ammo weapon damage amplification by 50. So it's going to make those hollow point bullets a lot more potent, basically. So yeah, it's nice to have the chest piece. The chest piece does a lot for us. I'm not really a fan of the backpack, but you could use that if you wanted to. Okay, so on to the 2 piece. So now we can start talking about the brand set, the gear set bonuses, sorry. So what 2 pieces is going to do is going to give us 15% extra status effects, which is quite nice. Again, we get some from our mask, and we also get some from the backpack, so we're stacking up a little bit of status effect passively. Okay, so this comes with an armor core and crit hit damage. We move on to our third piece, and this is going to give us 30% reload speed. Really great. This ties in with the Catalyst Mask, because when we get a kill, that's also going to give us 20% reload speed, totaling up to 50% reload speed. This is very useful for larger weapons like the LMGs that have longer reload times. It's going to mean that you're going to get your magazines back in quickly and going to keep you on the trigger. Just to go through that, sorry, I've got weapon damage and crit hit damage on there, all importantly. Again, similar story on the knee pad, but this gives us the 4-piece, so this gives us rules of engagement. Shooting a status affected enemy will apply a mark. Killing the marked enemy grants a full clip of hollow point ammo for your active weapon and half a clip for the agent's active weapon to the rest of the party. So killing enemies is going to give them hollow point rounds, which is going to help your team do more damage. The mark lasts for 10 seconds, and the hollow point ammo basically is 20%, but with the chest it's going to give us 50, so on hit, so it's going to increase our damage. We also have weapon damage and crit hit damage on the knee pad. So over to our skills. Let's just have a quick look at our skills. We have the Stinger Hive. This is equipped with a 5% damage, health, and extra charges. Okay. So we also have the Jammer Pulse. This is just to help us apply as much status as we can without having to directly engage enemies that we might not already see. And this just comes with radius and skill haste. Unfortunately, don't have a full mod there. We also have the EMP grenades, again another way of creating a status effect, so that's quite useful for us. Okay, so let's go to the range, check that it's on heroic, and then we can go through the stat sheet. So we can see it's clearly on heroic here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go through the stat sheet so you can have a look at some of the numbers. Just thinking about it, I might actually turn off the here so you can see the baseline numbers, so when this is not active, the event is not active, you'll see what numbers you're actually getting. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the stat sheet slowly. Again, we have Perfect Sadist and Vindictive. Vindictive is going to be useful because of the crit chance that you'll see in just a moment. It's going to allow us to reach the cap near enough on crit chance, which is great. So you can see that we're at 39. Again, we're going to add 16 to that, which is going to be very useful. And it's going to give us, closer to the crit cap, which is great. Okay, same on the ACR, 39. It's going to give us more. It's going to give us that extra 16%, which is quite useful. It's going to give us, if my maths is right, 56. So we're very, very close to the crit cap there, just 4% off once we activate this. So I'll just go through the stat sheet. Okay, you can see that we do benefit some reload time, reload bonus there. Again, we are using 3 red cores and 3 blue cores. I will go through this in just a second, but let's just show the weapon damages. Okay. Again, Perfectly Wicked, Parabellum rounds, and Chemical Agent are our main gear talent skills. And brand sets is Golan and Ongoing Directive. We have 1.3 million armor. The reason for having this extra armor is for 2 reasons. One, we do not have a Reviver Hive or Unbreakable, so to be all red, we're going to be incredibly squishy without a lifeline of something picking us up. So having that extra armor is going to be useful to keep us alive, and also you'll notice the mask said it gives you 25% bonus armor. Now a percentage base is just that, a percentage of what you have. So if you are all red, you're going to get 25% of 800,000, 900,000. That's where I'm getting 25% of 1.3 million. It's just going to give us a little bit more value and just keep us alive. And as you will see with the bonuses that we get from Ongoing Directive, we kind of mitigate not having that by having those bonus rounds. It's going to give us those extra damage that we've taken into blue instead of red. Okay, so for our skills, again, we might not see accurate things there, so I'm just going to turn that off dead quickly, and we'll just go in and out the door just so you can see an accurate depiction of what the skill cooldowns are. Sorry, I forgot to do that. So, Again, we can hold the pistol. That's going to give us more charges. It's going to speed up our cooldown because of the extra skill tier. Okay, so now on to how to use the build. There's a couple of ways to do this. If you want to get enemies bleeding right off the bat and take advantage of the Sadist talent, we can use the Bleeder Hive, and if there's a few enemies right next to each other, that's going to be quite easy to do. We can use the pistol to turn that into a tier 2 hive. As you can see, we're already at full stacks, and now that means we can take advantage of bleeding enemies. Again, you can see there that I just activated Vindictive, and Vindictive, what that's going to do for us, when we switch to our main weapon, let's just get an enemy bleeding here, and then switch to our main weapon, for a short amount of time, we're going to have that 56% crit chance. We can also use our EMP pull. This is going to shut off skills, and again it's a way of proccing both the mask and a way of us getting the ammo that we want. So quite a useful build in that sense. We also have EMP grenades as well, not to forget if you ever need them. Again, can shut off skills. And what we'll do is we'll just quickly pull a target over here and give a quick demonstration of the damage that you can potentially do, even though we've taken those blue cores. So we'll pull a named target over. What we'll do is, and then remember that we'll show it with and without. So without, we're hitting for about 897 on a crit, on a high crit. So let's get that Vindictive. Okay, so Vindictive, and then we're hitting pretty close to 1,944,000. So as you can see, this thing still really hits quite hard for what it is. Alright guys, I've got a lot of new and exciting builds coming out soon, so please bear with me. I'll be posting up a couple more today, and hopefully a few more over the coming weeks. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next one.